So today I'm going to discuss some of the psychological strategies that you can use to deal with the negative symptoms associated with dieting to lose body fat. When we enter a diet and as the calories get lower, you get leaner and the diet gets longer, we can start to feel some negative dieting symptoms such as feeling hungry, low levels of energy, low motivation to train, any other kind of like nasty symptoms that can happen when you're trying to lose body fat. So what I want to discuss today is some psychological techniques that you can do to help deal with these negative symptoms, because your ability to deal with these symptoms is largely going to impact how well you're going to stick to this diet and actually keep pushing so you can reach your goals of wanting to lose body fat. Now, some of this is evidence-based and some of it is anecdote from experience with myself and working with clients. So some of these strategies may or may not work with you. So what I suggest is watch the video and pick what you like from it, and then you can apply it to your own, I guess, mental strategy to get through your diet. Okay, so with this one, you're probably going to look like shit for a while. So what I mean by that is when you start the diet, your body fat is a little bit higher, you might not have much muscle definition, you can't really see a whole lot. You might look jacked in clothes, so if you got like a shirt on, you might look muscly. For a girl, if you got like whatever tight pants on, you might look like you've got kind of good glutes and whatnot. So although your body fat might be a little bit higher, you might still look good in clothes. However, you start the diet and you've dropped your calories, you've dropped your carbohydrates a little bit lower, so you're storing less glycogen in your muscles. You've got less water in your muscles, so you're just kind of losing that fullness look. Now, the combination of you don't have much muscle definition and your muscles are feeling flat, you can have these periods in between the middle bit of the diet, so this being fat and this being lean, somewhere in this middle zone where you don't really look like anything, and people can kind of feel disheartened because at that time they feel like they look like shit. All right, your muscles aren't full and you don't really have much definition. It's in this phase that people tend to give up and like, what's the point? This diet, it's just making me look worse. So let's just go back to, eating more. This phase is normal, okay? Push through this phase, because when you pass that hump and you start to get more definition, you can actually look bigger than you were when you were at a higher body fat. When you look more defined, you tend to look more jacked and you have more shape. So what I suggest is push through, because that period of looking like crap does pass, so long as you have an adequate amount of muscle mass to begin with. If you don't really have much muscle mass and you lose body fat, then you probably shouldn't be in a deficit, because you're probably not going to look good at the end of the deficit. So long as you've got a good amount of muscle mass hiding underneath your fat, ride out that looking like shit phase, because after you pass it and as you start to lose body fat and you start to look more defined, you're going to look a lot better. So at some part of the diet, you're going to feel hungry. That's a given. Like, it's going to happen. What you're probably going to find is that hunger comes in waves. Now, I'm not going to talk about, tangible things that you can do in terms of like increasing the volume of your foods, meal frequency and whatnot. This is more just dealing with the symptoms from a psychological level. The hunger is going to come in waves, and so long as you have all those things that I just said put in place, you're eating volume foods, you're eating regularly and whatnot, the hunger, there's going to be parts of the days where you are just really, really hungry. You may have just eaten like 30 minutes ago, 60 minutes ago, but you are still hungry. There's going to be some other parts of the day where you haven't eaten, but you are not feeling that hungry. So the hunger is wave-like. Likewise, you might just get an entire day where you're just feeling hungry that entire day, and then the next day you're feeling totally fine. That is normal, and the hunger does come in waves. If you are in between meals and you aren't able to snack, you don't have enough calories to snack, or you're just not in a position where you can currently eat, what I suggest doing with the hunger is just let the hunger happen. Just sit with it. Accept that the hunger is there and don't try to avoid it. Because if you have a sensation or a feeling and you focus on it and you're focusing on trying to get rid of that feeling or sensation or thought, the more you focus on getting rid of it, the more it's going to come back. The more conscious you're going to be about it. If I just say to you now, like, focus on your heart beating, okay? Me saying that, you're probably going to feel your heart beating. You don't really think of it in day-to-day life. It just falls into the background, okay? But if someone says, focus on your heart beating, now you're going to be in tune with that sensation and you're going to feel your heart beating. As you go on with your day and you get distracted, that's thought of, we'll just say, the heart beating, it falls into the background, you forget about it, and then you might go like a bunch of hours like, oh, I didn't think of that. The same thing can happen with hunger a little bit. Although you might be hungry, if you're focusing on trying to get rid of that hunger, it's going to be in your conscious mind more. If you just allow it to happen, don't try to fight it, just accept, I'm in a deficit, I'm feeling hungry, just let it be. What you'll probably find, because you're not putting so much attention on it, the feeling of hunger actually lessens because you're not focusing on it too much. So basically, accept that you're hungry. Don't try to avoid it. Don't try to overly focus on it. Just let it be and just go on with your day. And you might find that it actually goes out of your consciousness, and then you can focus on other things, and that unpleasant feeling of feeling hungry doesn't bother you as much. Similar to the hunger, energy and you feeling tired tends to fluctuate as well. There might be some parts of the day where you just feel really tired, low energy, you're feeling weak, and then there's other parts of the day where you feel totally fine. The same advice that I just gave to hunger, just let it happen. Understand that it does come in waves, because I think what happens is some people diet and they start to feel tired and they start to catastrophize that, well, I'm feeling really tired and low energy now, that this is going to get a lot worse. And so long as your diet is set up properly, you're not crash dieting, your calories aren't super low, and you're not doing excessive amounts of cardio. This is more just you are doing an appropriate diet, an appropriate weight of loss. That energy will fluctuate up and down, okay? Don't catastrophize that you're going to feel worse over time. Again, there's going to be some parts of the day and some days where you feel totally fine. So just allow it to happen and just accept that, okay, I'm feeling like crap now, but in a few hours, I'm probably going to feel a little bit better. Or tomorrow, I'm actually going to feel better. So just ride those fluctuations of energy highs and lows, because the entire diet isn't going to feel like total crap. So there's going to be plenty of days where you're tired, you're hungry, you're stressed, and you're feeling weak and you just don't want to train. As the diet gets longer and your calories get lower, this feeling of not wanting to train is probably going to happen more often. When people are feeling like this, they can start to think that because I'm feeling like crap, my training session is going to be crap. So they just skip the gym, or they might go but just do an easy session, maybe take out, they're meant to do squats today, but they take them out, or they just do a bunch of accessories, okay? They change their workout or skip the gym with the prediction that their gym workout is going to be crap. What I suggest doing is, unless you're, totally exhausted and it's just like a really off day, you didn't get enough sleep or whatnot, but if it's just kind of general dieting fatigue, you got enough sleep, you've eaten your calories, it's just kind of a regular day, but you just feel like you're going to have a crap training session, go to the gym and train anyway. Because more often than not, this has happened to myself over 20 times now, and I've had the same conversation with a bunch of clients, face-to-face clients, online clients, and just friends as well. We typically find that although we might be feeling like total crap and don't feel like training and we feel tired, we get to the gym and we start lifting and our strength is actually really, really good and our energy is fine and we're actually feeling really, really strong. I've heard other high-level coaches talk about this as well. I don't know why it happens, but it's happened so much that it is an actual thing, that although you might be feeling like crap, that your gym session is still really, really good. So what I say to my clients is, don't try to predict your performance. Just get to the gym and perform and see what happens. I've had many sessions when I have felt like total crap. I go into the gym and I actually hit a PB. On the opposite of that, I've had days where I'm feeling totally fine. I've had all my sleep, my energy feels good, I feel like I'm going to have a really good training session. I get into the gym and then I'm actually really, really weak. So sometimes how you feel does not line up with how you perform. So in a gym setting, what I say to people is, this is the appropriate time to ignore your feelings. Don't worry about how you're feeling. Who cares about your feelings when you're training? Just focus on training. Do your gym session and see what happens. Okay, don't try to predict it. Just go into the gym and see how you go. So this last one might seem a little bit odd, but when I'm dieting anyway, I embrace feeling like shit. And what I mean by that, as we said, so long as your diet is adequate, you haven't cut calories, you're not doing like a 500 calorie diet, and you're not extreme dieting, you're doing an appropriate type of diet to lose body fat. If I'm experiencing these negative dieting symptoms of feeling hungry, feeling tired, low energy, that is a sign to me that I actually am in a deficit. Therefore, I'm getting closer to my goals of reducing my body fat and getting to the leanness that I want. Likewise, you can use these feelings as a measure or as a tool to know that the diet is working, because sometimes what happens is you might drop your calories and for a few days or even a week, your body weight doesn't change, okay? You've dropped your calories, you're feeling like crap, but your body weight hasn't budged. Sometimes what happens is when you drop calories, water retention can occur, potentially from stress, and the water may mask what your actual true scale weight is. And then what I tend to see happens after some time is that all of a sudden, the weight just drops out of nowhere. So the scale weight might be lying, but what I would use as a tool to know that, okay, I probably am in a deficit is, am I feeling like crap? Because sometimes what happens is I've made a calorie drop because I've plateaued, my weight's not budging. I make a calorie drop. My weight on the scale doesn't move a whole lot, but I am significantly feeling like crap for the next couple of days. Probably, I don't know, I'm adjusting to the new calories or whatnot. I tend to feel a little bit better after I've adjusted to that calorie drop, but a couple of days, I might feel like crap and the weight on the scale hasn't really dropped. But again, I'm using those symptoms as like, you know what, I probably am in a deficit because I'm feeling it. I can't see it on the scale, but I'm feeling it. Then after some time, a few days might pass, then I actually see the weight drop. Where you probably want to be worried is if your weight isn't budging, okay, your weight hasn't moved, and you're not feeling any negative symptoms, then this might be a sign that you're not really in a significant deficit enough to actually lose body fat, and you're probably due for a calorie drop. So, as I said, embrace feeling like crap, because this is probably a sign that you are actually in a deficit and you are actually losing body fat, but maybe the weight on the scale isn't telling the full story yet. So that covers this talk. If you have particular mental strategies that you use to deal with the negative symptoms of dieting, I'll be interested to know what you do, and there's other people that might be watching this and, might be interested in what things you do. So leave it in the comments. Talk about what strategies that you use, and it may help myself or even other people reading along.